35 minutes or so. We're going to see about 70% of the zoo grounds. What we don't see from the bus, I'll make every effort to point out to you as we make our way around the zoo. I've been driving a bus on and off here since 1984, so I've seen the same buses, by the way, and seen an awful lot of changes. I'll make every effort to point them out to you as we make our way around the zoo. I'd like to also inform you that the world's famous San Diego Zoo is not simply a zoo any longer. We're home to the Institute for Conservation Research. We are, in fact, a nonprofit conservation organization whose vision is to become a global leader in connecting people with wildlife and conservation. Right-hand side of the bus is one of the areas that we will not be visiting with the bus. That's the Lost Forest, the big green area on your map just on the other side of those beautiful Caribbean flamingos, the largest of the flamingo species. They can stand in excess of 4 feet tall, weigh over 9 pounds. That beautiful exhibit is surrounded by 21 different varieties of palm trees from all around the world. So in the Lost Forest on the right-hand side, you will find gorillas, orangutans, bonobo, pygmy hippo, a variety of monkeys and hoofed animals from Central and West Africa, and Albert's Restaurant, one of San Diego's finest sit-down restaurants. Albert's Restaurant's in there. Straight through the windshield is another area that we will not be visiting with the bus. Single-story red-tiled roof building is the Reptile House, if you like reptiles. The Galapagos tortoise are in the back. Skyfari straight ahead through the windshield. A cable car ride across the zoo. It's about a 4-minute ride across the zoo. You can get on Skyfari West Station by Polar Bears and express stop number 3 all the way up till 7 o'clock tonight. We'll bring you right back to the main entrance of the zoo. Also straight through the windshield is the Children's Zoo. I highly recommend the Children's Zoo. It's a very unique collection of animals not found anywhere else on zoo grounds. As we descend into the Lost Forest, a word of caution, anything near or dear to you. Head, hands, arms, legs, feet, spouse, baby, you get the idea. Let's keep it inside the bus at all times, please. We will be coming in contact with vegetation from time to time. If you feel the need to stand up, you're more than welcome to stand up. Just do us a big favor, and let's keep both feet firmly planted on the floor, as opposed to the seats or the seat backs. And let's go ahead and make use of the handrails that we have provided for you. So again, on the right-hand side of the bus, we have the Lost Forest. All of the Lost Forest is best seen on foot. You can see the meandering pathways over here on the right-hand side. However, in this particular area, you're going to find Malayan tapir, Burmese python, fishing cats, gabials, beautiful aviaries, and of course all of this lush green vegetation. The vegetation is not simply grown for the emotional support of the animals, however it certainly fulfills that role. It is also grown as a source of food. We have a 7-person browse crew. Their sole responsibility is cutting fresh, leafy green material for a wide variety of what we know as browsing animals each morning. Of course, the browsers are the animals that reach up into the canopy for their food, as opposed to grazers like cows that keep their heads strictly down to graze for grass. Largest of the carnivores in all of Southeast Asia would be the Malayan tiger, in their best seen on foot quite typically. One of 5 subspecies of tigers. The Malayan tiger, it is estimated, of all 5 subspecies of tigers by tiger researchers, that there's less than 4,000 tigers total left in the world today. Tigers are being hunted to near extinction for 2 reasons. Tigers kill more human beings each year than any other species of animal. And secondly, in some parts of the world, it's hard to imagine, but their parts, tiger parts, could be a whisker or a spleen, are considered to have medicinal qualities. And of course, research has proven to us that tiger parts have no useful purpose in any form of medicine whatsoever. Sad but true reality of the 4,000 or so tigers that do remain in the world today, the great majority now reside in zoos. There are very few tigers remaining in the wild any longer. Second largest of the land animals on the right-hand side of the bus, of course, is the Nile River hippopotamus. Our big male is out there today. It looks like he's in the water from the way the water's moving around over there. Nile River hippos are second in size only to the African bush elephant. Males can get very close to about 8,000 pounds. They are very large animals. Keep in mind, too, that hippopotamus are nocturnal, which means that they're primarily active at night. That's your first vocabulary word for the day. And they will migrate from their territorial waters sometimes 3 to 5 miles in search of their favorite grasses. Speaking of grass, on the left and the right-hand side of the bus, we've got some of the 21 different varieties of bamboo grown here on zoo grounds. That same 7-person browse crew, believe it or not, they estimate that they cut anywhere from 45 to 65 tons of bamboo each year on zoo grounds. That's just to feed the giant panda, as well as our tompkins species. Lower, right-hand side of the bus, the lower portion of the Lost Forest is known as the Ituri Forest over here. We've got some medium-sized monkeys from West and Central Africa. These are spot-nosed guenons and Allen swamp monkeys. They, of course, are these are descendants of monkeys that were rescued from roadside markets in West Africa. There, they were being sold as food. Hard to imagine, but the use of feeding human populations with wild animals is an unsustainable means of agriculture known as bushmeat. We'll talk about sustainability in Africa a little bit later on in the day. Right-hand side of the bus is map location number 15. To the right of map location number 15 is the Giant Panda Research Station. We're going to be rolling up to Express Bus Stop number 2 here momentarily, and that, of course, will give you access to the giant pandas, the polar region, which is off to the right, as well as those hippos and tigers. Right-hand side of the bus, way up high, if you like birds of prey, you're going to find the Andean condor, the ornate eagle, the harpy eagle, and the stellar sea eagle, all on the right-hand side of the bus. That elevated walkway will get you all the way up to the polar region. Express bus stop number 2 is over here on the left-hand side of the bus. That's the African marsh. I can see saddlebill stork, there's spoonbill stork, great white pelicans, and birds up in the trees. You see the white birds up in the trees? You know what we call those, don't you? Yeah, those are freeloaders. Those guys don't belong here. They're just here for all the free food. They're not stupid. Hey, back in 1984, when I started here, the Colombian government of South America, fearing the loss of all free-flying Andean condors, sent several breeding pairs of those birds to us in an effort to reintroduce back into the wild. So the keepers went to work on a very well-known technique in dealing with birds of any kind. It's called double clutching. So every time a female Andean condor laid an egg, they took it away from her. She, of course, responded by laying another egg. Well, that greatly diminished the time needed to get the birds back out into the wild. They're still critically endangered. We'll talk a little bit more about double clutching when we get to the California condor. Man, oh man, left-hand side of the bus, that's the employee swimming pool. They've really let that one go downhill, haven't they? No, off on the left over there, that's a stabilization lagoon, but off on the left, quite by accident about 10 years ago, construction workers unearthed the fossilized remains of a 3-million-year-old whale right here on the grounds of the zoo. It turns out San Diego County and Riverside County are rich in geologic history. We're going to talk about that when we get to Elephant Odyssey. But back for a moment just to the Andean condor, still critically endangered. And I know you've heard the term endangered before as it's applied to either a plant or an animal, but what the heck is endangered all about? Endangered is in fact a legal status afforded to a plant or an animal that without immediate human intervention will become extinct in the very near future. Such is the case on the right-hand side of the bus, these beautiful zebra. These are Grevy's zebra. They're the largest of the zebra species. They are from northern Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia. Very, very dry, arid climates. Researchers in the northern rangelands of Kenya tell us that there's, believe it or not, fewer than 2,400 Grevy zebra left in the world today. That qualifies them as an endangered species. So you're probably starting to catch my drift. Plants and animals are endangered. The zoo's helping. What can I do to help? Well, believe it or not, you're probably already helping and you're not even aware of it. You see, the leading cause for any plant or animal to be placed on the endangered species list is through loss of habitat. If you have a blue barrel on the outside of your house, you fill it up with paper, plastic, and aluminum, you're doing your part. By simply recycling aluminum, you are diminishing the need to mine bauxite, one of the raw materials needed to make aluminum. In fact, bauxite mines in South America are being abandoned. They're being taken back by the rainforest because you and I are recycling aluminum. The polar bear exhibit is on the left-hand side of the bus. Not a real good look at the polar bears at this particular time. They're best seen on foot. You can use express stop number 3 to come back and see the polar bears. That particular exhibit does not exactly look like a polar bear exhibit might look like. It's our rendition of Arctic summer. The water is chilled to 57 degrees. Polar bears, of course, are the largest of the bear species. We'll go from the largest of one species to the smallest of another. On the right-hand side of the bus is the Arabian oryx, the smallest of the oryx species from Oman in the Arabian Peninsula. Also on the right-hand side of the bus is the beautifully marked and highly territorial Bontebok. The Bontebok is from South Africa. Beautiful, beautiful markings on the Bontebok. Also on the right-hand side, two adult male Gerenuk or giraffe-necked antelope on the right-hand side of the bus. They, of course, have the long necks and kind of the ET faces going on. If you see two smaller animals in the exhibit, they're in the center and the back. Those are dik-dik, one of the smallest of the antelope species. Speaking of small, look at the back on the right-hand side of the exhibit. See a little red piece of plastic over there? That is twin Cuvier's gazelle, about 6 days old. Mom has tucked them in the back of the exhibit there. Cuvier's gazelle are critically endangered gazelles from the Atlas Mountains of Morocco, in the northwest corner of Africa. Researchers in that part of Morocco estimate that there are fewer Cuvier's gazelle remaining in the wild that can be found in zoos today. So those two little babies are very, very precious to us. Left-hand side of the bus, and of course overhead is Skifari. Keep in mind, I mentioned earlier that the zoo is open till 7 o'clock tonight. You can catch Skifari. This is the Skifari West Station. It's open till 7 o'clock tonight. All you need to ride Skifari is your one-day pass. It's about a 4-minute ride back across the zoo. Left-hand side of the bus, we have a temporary exhibit. These are koala over here on the left-hand side. We've got 3 little koalas. I think we even have a female. So we'll put a little guy right in front of us here. There is one female in there that's got a joey in her pouch, I understand. So, oh boy, they're all munching over here on the left-hand side. Koalas love eucalyptus, by the way. And eucalyptus is their favorite food. You'll notice there's several different varieties of eucalyptus for them to eat. And keep in mind that the 7-person browse crew I talked about earlier, they cut all the eucalyptus for the koalas. We have the largest collection of koalas in the United States, and they estimate between 145 and 165,000 pieces of eucalyptus browse they cut each year just to feed our koalas. It's a busy job. They estimate another 30,000 are shipped over via overnight express to our koalas out on Long Island. 4D Theater, open, I believe, until 6:30 tonight on the right-hand side of the bus. Features the Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs characters. Express bus stop number 2 is down in the canyon we passed earlier. This is stop number 3. Notice 6:43 is the time of departure of the very last express bus at stop number 3, 6:43 tonight. So if you're riding the express bus, you want to get back to the main entrance of the zoo, you can pick up an express bus around 6:43 tonight, and it will drop you off at the main entrance of the zoo. It's the only bus, the only express bus of the day, the last one, that will drop you off at the main entrance. I did mention to you earlier that the San Diego and Riverside County areas are rich in geologic history. As a result of that comes our latest effort, pretty much a living museum. This is an attempt to connect you with animals that, believe it or not, roamed in this area of North America thousands of years ago towards the end of the Pleistocene epoch, and connecting you with their descendants that have radiated to the other parts of the world where they survive today, or more aptly put, that would be their counterparts. Did you know that we had a lion living right here in this part of North America some 12,000 years ago? The California lion was about 20% larger than these two beautiful lions. Look at the female lion down over here with her tongue hanging out. Just like a kitty cat at home. Tongue's broken. Yeah, her name is Etosha. Her beautiful mate in the back there, the male, his name is Bobari. He weighs about 400 pounds. That seems big, but keep in mind the largest of the big cats would be the Siberian tiger. Siberian tigers routinely weigh in excess of 700 pounds. We used to have them here. Their paws are as big as a dinner plate. They're gigantic. I used to take care of them when I was a keeper there. They're gigantic. Right-hand side also fiberglass replicas of giant Columbia mammoths. They're counterparts of the Asiatic elephants, which we'll see momentarily. Also giant sloths, saber-toothed cats, all living here in this part of North America. Boy, this is where it really pays to be on the lower deck. We try to tell people the visibility on the lower deck is awesome. Look on the right-hand side. Sound asleep, Brazilian jaguar. This is mom and 2 babies. She has relinquished the cave to the 2 babies. That is Tikal and Madeiras. And mom is laying on the outside. Her name is Madeira. These are Brazilian jaguar. These are the counterparts.
Jaguares brasileños.
That lived in this area thousands of years ago.
Ahí
These ranges as far north as the southern Bolivar Canyon. They are now found exclusively in the southern portions of Mexico, Central America, and the northern regions of South America. That is a Brazilian jaguar. Two cubs were born here. You guys in the back okay? Did you get a good look? Somebody give me a thumbs up. You guys okay? Yeah? Oh, yeah, it doesn't get much prettier than that. So the Brazilian jaguar is here because it is the counterpart of the saber-toothed cat that lived here towards the end of the Pleistocene epoch, thousands of years ago. Elephant Odyssey is about 8 acres in total, 3 acres dedicated to 6 beautiful elephants. If you look up on the right-hand side, there's a gorgeous female African. Oh, that's an Asiatic elephant. That looks like Samantha. Asiatic elephants have the smaller ears. African elephants have the big ears. Asiatic elephants, if you look off on the right, there's little Debbie. She's underneath one of the artificial trees. They're called utila trees. We had to construct artificial trees because the favorite food of the elephant are trees. It's simply knock down a living tree and eat it. Also over here on the right-hand side, see the big, beautiful African elephant with the big ears and the tusks? Her name is Tembo. So African elephants have big ears. Asiatic elephants have small ears. You'll notice that the African elephant has more wrinkled skin than that of the Asiatic elephant. Asiatic elephants typically have longer tails. Look off on the right-hand side, you see Samantha. See how long her tail is? That's much longer than the African elephant. Asiatic elephants have more caudal bones in their tail. Now, the Asiatic elephant looks kind of shorter and pudgier than the African elephant. That's because the African elephant has 2 more pair of ribs. Other anatomical differences, the African elephant has 2 fingertips at the end of the trunk. The Asiatic elephant has 1. And if you get up closer later on, or actually from here, if you look at Debbie, see Debbie coming about over there? You can count 5 toenails on all 4 feet. If you look at Tembo, let me pull up at the front here a little bit. See Tembo's front feet? There's only 4 in the front and 3 in the back. That's just some of the differences between them. The African elephant is the largest of the land animals. These are all females, by the way. We have 6 elephants, 1 male, 5 females, 2 African, and 4 Asiatic. Gotta do something to get those Hey, gorgeous. So the trees we call utila trees. They were designed by the keepers and the curators. Light at night, heat in the wintertime, food all year round, shade and coolness. And those cool-looking elephant-sized piñatas there. Yeah, the keepers fill those up with those little treats in the morning. They raise them up. It's a very natural behavior for the elephants. Okay, the plants all around us on the right, well, actually on the right-hand side of us. These plants are counterparts of plants that also lived in this area thousands of years ago. This is the Elephant Care Center. Elephants come in here on a daily basis. Keepers give them a bath. Actually, they actually come in and they call their names, just like your dog. They call their names, and then they come. They give them a bath. They check their teeth. They check their eyes. Occasionally, they are asked to provide a blood sample. They lower their head, of course, to the gates where the keepers can have access, and they'll go ahead and get a blood sample by the vet staff. They trim their toenails, the bottom of their feet. It's kind of a day spa for elephants, the keepers like to call it. Right-hand side of the bus, again, beautiful gray birds. See these big gray birds over here? These are called secretary birds. And what's fascinating about them is they are birds of prey, but they're one of only 2 species of birds of prey that hunt on the ground. Most birds of prey, of course, hunt from the skies above. These guys use their long, long legs to stir up their favorite food from the tall grasses of the plains of Africa. They love snakes. Absolutely love snakes. And occasionally the keeper will come out here with a rubber snake on the end of a stick, and they'll kind of toss it around and exhibit for the birds to attack. So those are secretary birds. Some of the other differences between the African elephant and the Asian elephant. The African elephants, both males and females, display tusks. Of the Asiatic variety, it is only the males that display the tusks. The Asiatic females do have tusks. They're just very tiny. They're up underneath the upper lip. This big guy over here on the right-hand side is our lone male. His name is Ranchapur. Ranchapur is an adult male Asiatic elephant. He was born in 1968. As he stands now, he weighs about 11,500 pounds. In his prime, he weighed about 15,800 pounds. Let me help you put things in perspective here. He's a big animal, correct? The largest of the land animals is the African elephant. This guy weighs 11,500 pounds. African elephants typically weigh between 18 and 25,000 pounds. So they're twice his size.
if you do get a chance to get to East Africa, Amboseli, or even South Africa, you'll get up close to some of those big African bull elephants, and their feet are about 24 inches across. It's hard to even imagine. They're gigantic. They're absolutely gigantic. But he's a pretty big dog. He's about it. He's a big boy. So that is a male Asiatic elephant. We've got camels over here on the right-hand side of the bus. What the heck do we have camels here for? Anybody on board the bus from Riverside? Anybody from Riverside? Nobody on the lower deck. Maybe somebody upstairs. Riverside County, about 10 years ago, during the construction of a reservoir there, they unearthed the fossilized remains of over 1 million animals that lived here thousands of years ago. The great majority of those animals, and of course you can Google this, were horses and camels. And that has led taxonomists to theorize that horses and camels could very well have evolved here in North America and have since radiated via land bridges to other parts of the world where they
Corte uno.
exist today.